Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this series of ICH GCP course, this is the chapter 3 where we will be talking about informed consent form. The last two chapters were about principles of GCPs, responsibility of sponsor, investigator and ethics committee. And all these were well received, and thank you so much for all the appreciation. I would like to request please share and subscribe our channel so that we can get a motivation to post such wonderful content. So let's begin with it. What is informed consent form, and how is its importance in the whole clinical trial process? If you are looking at the ICH-GCP definition, informed consent form has two parts. So first is informed, basically sharing information. So first part is sharing information on trial. So that's why it is known as informed. We are informing. The second part is a consent. So that means agreement. So that's the reason it is known as an informed consent form. So in the first part, you are saying you are informing a patient or a participant about a trial. You will tell them what will happen in that particular trial. And the consent is an agreement that you are asking them, do you agree? Do you voluntarily agree? So when informed consent word comes in your mind, always keep these two things right. So what is the definition as per ICH GCP? It is a process. First of all, it is a process by which subject voluntarily, with their own will. Voluntarily word is very important. Whenever you try to memorize this definition, you have to remember voluntarily. Confirm their willingness to participate in particular trial after having been informed. So what I have told you at very first instance, that after being informed about all aspects of the trial that are relevant to the subject decisions to participate. So basically this is a process where a participant is informed and voluntarily they give their agreement, or maybe they can say no after knowing is that what this study is about, what will happen in that particular trial, like when they have to visit a clinic, and any blood sample will be taken, maybe biological sample, you can say, how many times they have to take a drug, what can happen to them in the clinical trial, is there any AE or SAE, adverse event or serious adverse event of that particular product, is there any placebo being used in this trial. So all this is informed to a patient. And the most important thing, which is GCP principle also, which we studied in very first chapter, is they are informed that this is research. So this word is repeated again and again, that this is a research. This is, they are doing investigation. This is not a confirmed, this is a new treatment. So, and another part is informed consent is documented by means of written, signed, that is, first is written, second is signed, third is dated. So these three elements should be present in the documentation. Signed by whom? One is of course your patient or a participant, you can say subject. Second is who was taking their informed consent form, investigator, or you can say that if the CRC is taking, clinical research coordinator is taking. So anyone who is handling this process, they should also be signing. Patient also or subject should also be signing. If they are illiterate, impartial witness should also be there. Now, informed consent process, why it is known as a process? It is not like a document. Why we are not saying it is not a document? Like other ways, when you go to bank or other places, you just sign the document, so you just sign and it happens. But it is not like that. It is a process, So a process, why it is known as a process? In the process, subject should be informed about The trial, like what is the purpose of the trial? Goal. Purpose is goal. So why they are doing this trial? Is this trial is on healthy volunteer? What was the need, why they are doing this trial? So that is number one question. And this thing, as I told you in a previous slide, they have to tell again and again that this involves research. They have to emphasize that this is a research and there can be some risk, you know. Procedure, like if there is any injection, because that can cause a pain, you know, what at visits, what, when and how they have to come to a clinic, and if something happen, at what number they have to report, all the procedure that will be carried in that particular clinical trial, that is shared with the research participant. Duration, how long this studies, it is for 2 year, 5 year, because that is the commitment participant is giving. It is, if it is for 2 year, that means that participant should be in touch with study team for 2 years. If it is 5 year, then same. Responsibility, what is the responsibility of research participant? Like they have to follow the instruction of a study team. If they are experiencing adverse event, maybe that person experienced some headache, that means he or she has to inform a clinic, right, hospital. Or if they are given some, you know, drug, and they've been told that you have to take on this particular time, they have to be compliant, they have to follow those responsibilities. Compensation and the payment, because patients, they are visiting clinic, they make visits to the clinic, and mostly this can be vary from one country to another country. Compensation per their wage equal to their wages loss of that particular country. Wages loss, if wage of that particular country per day is, suppose if I am talking about in India, is ranging from 500 to 700, equivalent to that their compensation is being given. So if suppose they are visiting one day in a clinic, and similar to that, throughout study they have to visit 5 or 10 times, every time they are coming to clinic, they will be given some compensation or some payment is to be made them. Or this can be some other payment also, right? If some SAE happens, and if some other medical incident happens, maybe sponsor is taking care of a medical care of a research participant. So all those things under compensation. And if you are keeping going little deeper, like our country in India, if there is an SAE, or you know, is a death, there is a formula to calculate the compensation. So that is mentioned, that will be mentioned in the informed consent form. Like if there is a death or any you know, study related AE or SAE, then compensation will be granted as per the formula given by DCGI. So we have one dedicated video how to calculate the compensation in case of death or any major incidents. But this will be, in nutshell, this will be part of your informed consent form. Another key points, there can be many more, especially related to your investigational product. This is new drug. When the drug is new, that means the information on that particular drug is limited, correct? So this is investigational. You are doing investigation, you are doing a research on particular medicine, so information on that is limited. That means you have to carefully involve all the risk. All the risk can be AEs and SAE, those are known till date, and benefits. You will be telling a patient that what are the risks, or you will be telling them you may fall in a placebo group. If it is a placebo controlled trial, that means in a placebo there is no medicine. You have to tell them in their language, simplified language. And what are the benefits? Like one benefit, you may be telling them that you are helping science, you are helping humanity, right? And another, it can be helping them with you know, in their disease or indication. And if they're saying, you also have to tell them what are the alternates. Suppose if even this is voluntarily, as saying this is voluntarily, even if you are not participating in this trial, no treatment is available for this particular disease. Here this treatment may help you, but if you are not participating, if you are not willing to participate, these are the alternates, those are available, maybe some standard of care, right? So you have to inform them. So this is, in a nutshell, is available in first informed. This information will be available on information sheet. You can say that information sheet. So this is the first part, where you will be telling research participants openly what is the goal, why we are doing this research, and this is purely a research. What is the procedure, basically what will happen to you in the trial, how long you have to be in the trial, what about compensation, and they should be knowing the risk and benefit. And benefit is the one of the principle of GCP is also, right? Benefit should be more than risk. And you have to tell them what are their options if they are not taking part in this trial. Now coming to document, how you document. If there is an audit, inspection, and of course monitoring happens on a regular time, right? So they are not going back in time to check, like, if this much of a discussion, as I have told you in the previous slide, that is it really happened or not. How they will come to know? By the documentation. So informed consent form is very well documented. What are the main requirements to document the informed consent form? Patient information sheet, the one that I discussed in the last slide, where you tell them all the information on your trial and on your new product. And consent form must be approved by ethics committee, EC, right? Ideally combined in one document. It should be one document. It will be saying part 1 is patient information sheet, part 2 is consent form. This is part 1, this will be part 2, and together this will make informed consent. But this should not be 2 sheets, this should be one document only, consent form. It should be in a simple language, especially in a local language which subject can understand. If the trial is happening, suppose their English version is created first, then it is translated to a local language. If the trial is happening in Delhi, maybe Hindi is preferred. If the Maharashtra, Marathi is preferred. So all these languages, if it is, or maybe into other countries like Spain, right, to their language it is converted. And these languages, that they are also verified and they are certified, so to know that it is perfectly translated to other language, there are no misses. Must be updated to comply protocol amendment. If there is an amendment, you need to update informed consent form. And it is controlled by version, language, pages are mentioned like 1 of 10, 2 of 10, like this. Page numbering is captured on an informed consent form. Translation to local language must be certified. There are translation agencies, and back translation, very important, is back translation is done just to ensure that it is saying the same thing word to word. So if you have English to Hindi, you have converted, then back translation is Hindi to English, you will be also converting, and it will be certified that information is being translated perfectly fine. And there should be a signature of the translator who is handling the translation. They should be signing this particular document. So this is about the document. Now you have patient came, and coordinator, maybe on behalf of investigator, they explained all the process, and in a detail, that this is what is consent form is. That now what, how you will be documenting it for audit and inspection and everything, right? So mostly what happened, participants participants, they visit clinic or you can say site, and here at a site either CRC, clinical research coordinator, on behalf of investigator or investigator, they carry out the consenting process, because investigator by themselves they can't do the consenting of every participant. Suppose there is 1000 participants in a clinical trial, do you think it's possible for investigator to sit and talk to particular patient for 1 hour or 2 hours? Not humanly not possible. So they delegate their responsibilities to CRCs. They take investigate consent on behalf of investigator, but investigator has to sign, or sometimes co-investigator can be there. So this there are times I have seen in particular trial 10 coordinators, they are also present and they are all helping investigator in a clinical trial, right? And in India, if you are from India, there is audio video is also recorded for a consent. So audio video is recorded for informed consent. So what you should be doing is that sign and date, participant and representative and witness if applicable, and the person who conducted the interview is that, because they will be talking like this is what will happen to you in the trial. It takes time, it like something 1 hour or 2 hour it can take. This is because this is important. So subject or their representative or their witness, so if they are illiterate, maybe there is a impartial witness or their representative guardian can also take part in this process. One copy of it is given to subject or representative or witness. They receive one copy for a study participation, like okay, they agreed and they are taking participation in the particular trial. One is filed to a legally which you say that you are the filing system, it goes to your investigator master file, so it is filed there, right? So it should be signed, dated, and copy is given to participant for their reference. They can consult to their family members also, they can show it to their doctor as well, and one is finally filed at a site. This I wanted to show you the last part. It's just for information. It is hypothetical. Informed consent form. This is how part 2. Part 1 is that you are sharing information. Consent form signatures. The form should be signed and dated by a medically qualified person, provided the information, ideally investigator. Although CRC facilitated the process, how about someone must have checked that person for their vitals from a medical perspective, so physician, or if the investigator is physician, so they will be also signing. The subject and the legally acceptable representative, if the patient is incapable of giving informed consent in a writing, then also legally acceptable representative should be signing. If it is like there is a children they are involved, they are less than 18, maybe their parents, then not maybe, then their parents or their guardians, they will also be there, they will also sign. A child will also sign, child will also sign. This is known as a assent. This is little deeper, maybe we'll cover in some other video. So this is how it is done. Impartial witness if it is appropriate. So if I little zoom out, I'll show you. This is part 2 where they give agreement, so that it will tell like this: I have been invited to participate in the study for this and this. I understand this involves me receiving 3 doses and 7 follow-up visits. You tell them what is the procedure. I have informed that the risks are minimal. But there are risks, may include pain at the finger. I am aware that I may be no benefit to me personally. I will not be compensated beyond my travel expense. So this is very much clarified at the beginning only. I have been provided with the name, address and the contact number of an investigator who can easily contact it. I have read and foregoing information and it has been read to me. Either I am reading it or someone read it to me. I had an opportunity to ask a question. This is, see, in the summary they write about it, and any question that may have been asked answered to my satisfaction. The consent is voluntarily. That's it is highlighted even in the signature sheet to participant, and a participant in this study and understand that I have right to withdraw. So patient can withdraw any time from the study, any time without without in a way affecting my medical care. So here goes your sign, signature, either participant by themselves or they give thumb impression also if they are not they don't know, or legally acceptable representative, signatory, name, date. So in the situation where they are illiterate, their witness must sign, and here is the name of the witness and then the signature. So this is how how the informed consent form is taken. Now about storage. Okay, you have conducted the informed consent process very well, and how about storage and archiving? The informed consent document need to kept at the site in a secure places, because anything which is audited first is informed consent form, because this is directly related to rights and safety and well-being of the subject. This is our one of the GCP principle, second principle of GCP, because if they have not taken informed consent carefully, that means they have not followed this principle rightly. So this is directly proportional to that. And ethics of the research also, they are more in being highlighted by informed consent form. And all the guideline, Nuremberg Accord, any Belmont report, heart of these guideline is informed consent. So the storage and archiving of this particular form is critical. They are stored in secure places. Confidentiality of the subject, their name, birth dates, and any information which can tell about their identity is kept confidential. So this is the reason in the clinical trial name is replaced with some numbers or some combination of alphabets, like this type of number will be given instead of name. So they going forward they will be reading it as a subject ID. Informed consent document should eventually be stored in an investigator file. This should be carefully stored in the investigator file. The subject should be given a copy, as I told, a copy of information sheet and consent form which is signed. So, and consent form is, always remember, this is an ongoing process. It is not one time that at the start patient came and the consenting happens. And one important thing, what should be the timing of informed consent form in the clinical trial? It should be before the study start. Before any procedure begin, the informed consent form should be taken. And what is the key highlight of GCP principle? So in nutshell, it revolves around two main goals. One is to protect the right and welfare of the human research subjects, those are participating in the clinical research. That is what our informed consent form is covering. It is also known as a ICF. To ensure the quality and integrity of the data that is obtained in the clinical trial. So this was the last chapter of GCP, which is informed consent form. I hope you find this course helpful. Going forward, we can include few more chapters to this, but to begin with, we made a 3 chapter. So chapter 1 is on principles and responsibilities of sponsor, and chapter 2 is on responsibilities of investigator. So you can revisit, and plus ethics committee. And this is chapter 3, which is dedicatedly talking about informed consent form. So if you are having any questions related to GCP, please leave in the comment section. Thank you so much.